Hi, um, this is Michael McAnally recording a video out on Nimbus Flat in Folsom, California. Um, this is sort of a personal life logging video, but I'm sharing it with everyone to listen in on some of my thoughts. It's very ad hoc, unscripted. So rather than look at a picture of me talking, I think it would be better just to look at what I'm seeing as I'm talking. Here's a duck coming up on the water here. We'll see how close we can get. Now, I'm recording this on the first version of Google Glass. Now, if you're aware of the media, which hasn't been too friendly to Google Glass, to say the least, it's back in redesign at Google, so it may come out looking very different than it initially was. But I think it's unfair to assume that a first attempt at head-face wearables instead of watch wearables, which are all the rave right now, is a fair assessment. I think that they're evolving the head wearables, and I think there's going to be a convergence between augmented reality and virtual reality with Oculus Rift when it finally goes mobile. The idea that that you could wear something that wasn't so visible as Google Glass, and people are very personal about what's on their face, earrings, mustache, glasses. They're a lot more personal about what's on their face than they are about what's on their wrist, okay? And a lot of people have moved from what's on their wrist to what's on their phone. But still, the idea that you have to use your hands to access this thing, rather than simply by, talking or swiping or even vocal commands, gestures, the sort of thing where you can do certain things gesture-wise. All that's going to be coming within the next few years. So again, the assessment of Google Glass, is really not a fair one. So I expect the product to evolve, and I'm very proud to be some of the early testers, or what they call explorers. I'm sure that will change as well. Now, a couple of words about entrepreneurship. Everybody, it's especially young folks, and I don't have anything against young folks, but a lot of young folks, watch The Social Network, and they believe that, they maybe watch it several times, and they believe that they're going to become the next Mark Zuckerberg, and sure, some of them will, but not all of them, and a good percentage, not all of them. And being an older entrepreneur, I'd like to be able to give some good words of advice, to those of us who aren't billionaires or even millionaires, but that are doing really innovative things that we're extremely proud of, and that are really making a difference in people's lives. If you can do that, then you're successful by any person's definition. So the last few years, I don't know if you can see those. There's a bunch of little gnats here. They've come. Can you see those? I don't know if the optical thing is sharp enough to see that. Let's see. Also, I'm going to try to avoid filming people because a lot of people are really upset about being filmed, and we're in a time when the FBI, NSA, CIA are spying on our own people against the Constitution of the United States. And people aren't speaking out about this because either they're frightened or they're too frightened of terrorism to realize that their freedoms being curtailed are actually almost, or in some cases, worse than terrorism. So I'm not advocating terrorism at all, but I am advocating freedom of speech. I am advocating the fact that you shouldn't be searched and videoed everywhere you go, and that people have rights, okay? And it sounds sort of kind of like a hypocrite filming with Google Glass here, but this is a technology that I'm using personally. I'm choosing to use it, and I'm using it to communicate, and help people to understand. Now back to entrepreneurship. So in the last couple of years, I saw a need with an app for people who are speech impaired. So I'll tell you the story very briefly. I was, while I examined this sculpture as well, I had a friend of mine, Dan C., will not give him a last name, who had gone into a hospital, and will not name that, with a cancerous growth on his thigh right here, okay? And he had the growth removed, and then from what I understand, he was leaving the hospital, and he had a pulmonary embolism, a blood clot broke loose, I guess, from his leg and went to his lungs, where it blocked an artery, and then, I'm not a medical doctor here, caused a coronary, and he collapsed while walking across the grass, leaving the hospital. Now, I didn't know this. I thought he was just in for, a fairly routine medical procedure, and I didn't know that he had died, okay, for 20 minutes until they brought him back. So there was some effect to that. Won't go into details, but I went to visit him after getting an email from his girlfriend, and went to the hospital and saw him there, and I could tell in his eyes that he recognized me, but he was unable to speak. And so after looking at what the hospital had, which wasn't much but a little piece of paper that you could point to yes and no and the alphabet to spell things out, I thought, well, this is not very good. And the iPad had been released, and so it shows you it's been a while ago. And I thought, well, what if you could touch the surface of something? And this is not a good example because it's a small phone, but an iPad has a larger surface area. What if you could touch the surface of something and then get it to speak for you? So after what I believe to be years of development, I've optimized an app that actually does that. And so I'm not here to demonstrate the app other than to maybe just get it to say one word or something. So let's see if we can do that. First we've got to find it. And here we are. It's too bright out here to see much of it. So don't, you can get demos online to see this. So I'm going to just make it speak for a moment. See if we can do that. Oh, you can't hear it very well.
Help me.
Yeah, okay, you might have heard that.
Help me.
Help me, nurse.
Help me, nurse, I am thirsty.
Okay, so you can hear that, and on a tablet, and it's much louder, and in a better environment where it's darker, you can see it quite well. But anyway, I found a need, basically. What I'm trying to say here is I found a need. I found an app that could address a need of people who really had a need, okay? And speech synthesis has come a long way, and it's getting even better, and speech recognition as well. And I addressed that need to help a group of people, and I used that to also further the business. So any profits from helping those people through the sales of the app would grow the business. So it's not been an easy road, but it's been a very entrepreneurial one for me. And so I'd like to actually start a series of videos that will help people to understand how to address the needs of people to create apps that make a difference in people's lives. I don't mean they're going to make you a billionaire or a millionaire, but they're going to help a lot of people, and you're going to be very proud of what you do, okay? And you're going to learn so much in the process of doing it, okay? And you're going to be able to connect with amazing people, okay? And, who knows? It could make you a billion, Okay? So it's not, if you address it in terms of how much money you're going to make, that's one way to do it, but you're not going to be addressing the needs of people. And I think that's the real core. Address the needs of people. What does the app do? How does it help people? Okay? Does it do good things? Would you be proud of it? Okay? Would you want it written on your tombstone that you created this app? Okay? If you can answer yes to all those questions, if it helps people, and such, then you've got a good idea. Okay, and then now you need to sound this idea with your friends. You don't want a lot of yes people around you. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, yeah, I like it, like it. And you don't want a lot of people telling you how to build it either. Oh, I think you should do this. I think do. But you do want to listen. Okay, so listening is really important. Okay, and then you need to prototype. You need to put together an early version of it. It's not going to be everything in the first version. You need to scale it back, scope it down to like one thing that it does really well, okay? And then try to do that, okay? And do it really well. And then grow out the feature set, okay? So if you do that, you'll have a prototype which you could potentially get venture capital with, but you got to watch out for vulture capitalists, because once they get their hands into it with their money, they're going to control the interests of your app and the direction of it. So early on, you really want to develop the feature sets and scope and ideas yourselves, but you do have to sound it against reasonable business practices. So you'll need to start working on that too. So an entrepreneurship road is a really difficult path to take. And but I tell you, it is truly rewarding, and I encourage people to do it. But it's not for everybody. So if after a while you find out it's not working for you, maybe you should give it up and go get the day job. So or you might even have to get the day job to fund the idea. That's my advice to young entrepreneurs, old entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs that want to make a difference, because we're in a very exciting time right now, and technology can make things better rather than worse. So let's focus on that. Thank you for listening.